Okay, once again, welcome back to another edition of the Long Time News Review. As usual, we'll be talking about some key issues that happened during the week. Today, we have Yankuba together with Modu El Baji, a senior reporter with Star TV. We'll be talking about some key issues. Among them is Gambians worried about the exorbitant cost of rams. You know, the Tobaski is also coming. Vendors at the Sandiga market claims that they lack a toilet. We were talking about that. And then GAP expel Bojang from party over nude video scandal. We'll be having an exclusive interview also with the PRO of GAP. And then Dudija rebukes a publication on confirmed coalition talks between APRC and the NPP. Dudija will also be joining us on that. But first, we will be taking a closer look at the Tobaski, as you already know. But let me just welcome my guys. Yankuba.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sarah, and I'm happy to be back here too.
Modu.
Thank you, Sarah. It's a pleasure to join me on the News Review.
All right, thank you very much. First, as Tobaski is fast approaching, the ram dealers at the Abuko Abattoir express difficulties they encounter in this pandemic with regard to the cost of rams, which are from 35,000 to 150,000. Awasane was on the ground, but Dado Cham sent in this report.
Aliu Nyang, a businessman and a ram dealer, said that he has been in the business for over 15 years and they sometimes spend the entire day without seeing a customer to buy a ram from him. Nyang also said that they face so many difficulties while bringing rams into the Gambia because the officers at the border charge them a huge amount of money, sometimes up to $3,000 before they could enter into the country. He further said that the price of ram at this period is very expensive, but he wants the customers to know that it is not the best choice for them, but it is happening due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Musa Njai said that this coming Tobaski is very different from the other ones, but also said that perhaps rams are expensive due to the coronavirus. That has hindered all businesses. He urged the customers to be patient with them because the rams are very expensive this year. He also said that they want the government to reduce the amount of money the tax collectors collect from them at the border. Aaron Nanyang said that he is urging the government to open the border for them in order to make importation of rams easier for them. He further said that they are facing so many challenges this year regarding the price of rams. He emphasized that this year there are many rams for sale, but the price is very expensive and this affects them in the sense that when the price is high, they have less customers. Modu, a ram buyer, said that this time things are very hard because for the past 2 years, they could not get good ram for less than $10,000. He added that when he went to Abuko, he could not even get a ram for $5,000. But he hopes that this changes as time goes on. Reporting for Star.
Tobaski, we all know. And then in the midst of the COVID-19, a lot of difficulties have been faced by customers looking at the rate in which rams are sold, starting with 35,000, 10,000, especially even those who are bringing this ram in the country, because they're also crying foul. They said the rams, sometimes they are charged up to $50,000 just to get their rams inside the Gambia, which at the end of the day is the cost is going to replicate on the customers, those who are going to buy rams for this Tobaski. It's going to be very difficult for the Muslim indeed.
Yeah, no doubt. It's absolutely no doubt that there will be a trouble in terms of people purchasing ram. Looking at this Gambia, livestock is not given priority by the government. Most of our rams come from outside the Gambia. And then, as we all know, almost all countries in the world are faced with this pandemic, and there are regulations everywhere. And then some countries put in restrictions, and like for example, Gambia, we put so many restrictions to exportation and other things.
Yes.
Maybe other countries also will have done the same thing. So this is a problem that people could have avoided, because we are 50 years now. And then agriculture, one of the components of agriculture is livestock farming. livestock here is usually in one part, that is Central River region, but that is not sustainable because it cannot provide for the whole country. So anything that you import from another country, you would expect it to be high because they will pay tax, they will pay transportation, they will also factor out many considerations. So if they add everything, you will be talking about thousands. So for example, someone who's paid like $3,000 a salary, you calculate 3 times 12. That is how much? It's 36,000.
36,000. Yeah.
So it's like your whole annual saving, you're buying it for only one ram. So what is the government doing to that? So people are paying tax. The tax will be put into service, and that service must impact on the life of people. And the government should be able to invest heavily on this sector.
Yeah, we've seen in the previous government, during Tobaski, the previous president would, buy a lot of rams, bring them, and then sell it at a cheaper rate.
Yeah, that was not even sustainable.
Exactly.
He was doing it at his personal level. Who knows where he's getting the money? But if it was Gambians doing this, invest in this sector, provide them with all they need, and then they will be engaged in this. And they sell this, they will not be selling it in the cost will have been at least lower than this. Yes, I don't expect a ram to pass $10,000 if the production was made in the Gambia. But the cost is high because we are not the producers, we are only buyers. So buyers, they will put in everything they have expended in order to gain some profit. Because most of those who sell rams here, most of them are not Gambians.
Yeah, that's true.
And then if you go to Abuko and other, you will see even the demand. Is there any, are the rams enough for the Gambians? Look at Serekunda, I'm not seeing rams. I saw Brikama and I saw some part of Kolodi, but Serekunda I'm not seeing. Usually by this time you find everywhere with ram, but this year people are not seeing that. And then we hope the government will intervene to help to solve the situation.
Yeah, maybe it's also because of the pandemic. People have been quarantined at the border because if you come, they must take you for quarantine.
Indeed,
Yeah.
in my own perspective, the COVID-19, the pandemic, has played a greater role when it comes to the mitigation of the number of rams we normally have in this country.
Yeah.
So, you cannot leave the country, go somewhere to get this ram to bring it in. And if you cannot come to this country without staying for quarantine, and if you leave this country to another country, there is another law in those countries that every individual coming in have to be subjected to quarantine of 14 days. So this will cause a big delay to the dealers, and that of the government also will like to have something out of it. So as you know, Gambia is a tax-based country, so we depend on the tax to earn our living, to sustain our activities. So I think what we should do here is to ensure this year's problem to be a learning course to the Gambian government, in order for them to ensure maybe by next year or years to come, for Gambia itself to commence breeding animals in order for feeds like this. We will have livestock, sufficient livestock for our our people. Because if you look at it, as you said, the price is 35 above. So if you look at it this year, how many people will
Can afford that?
Can afford the price? So I don't know what is the government doing to ensure that they have the service for the price to lower the price for the people. But I think this year should be a big learning course for them.
Yeah.
For them to either promote agriculture, as my colleagues said, either they start from grooming these animals either in the provinces or somewhere else.
Yeah, but I think what I think they should also have prepared for this, all right? Because they've seen countries. Gambia is not the only country affected with the COVID-19, and I think Gambia government should have known that this is going to happen. Okay, and if it happens, what are they going to do for the Gambian people?
It's a problem of over-dependence. The Gambia has always been dependent on outside. Whatever we need, whatever we do, we always solicit support from outside. And then it's what we call a system that failed the people. That people are paying tax, but still they suffer as a result of bad governance. So bad governance is does not only include the violation of rights and others, but the failure to provide services to the people. because if you look at the Gambia so far, people are paying tax. This livestock, they pay heavy tax.
Heavy tax, exactly.
They pay to cross Bara ferry. And who knows, how can someone come for this, like for example, someone comes from Mauritania, like even a Gambian entrepreneur who goes to Mauritania and purchase rams and come here. You are asked to undergo quarantine for how many days? 14 days
yes.
or more. So what if the person is confirmed positive? What else? So people will not risk to do that.
Yeah.
So it is the responsibility of the government. The government, how to say, trade. Let the government of the Gambia put in mechanism to trade with countries that have it, like Mauritania and other countries, so that people will not suffer. Even in fact, they can even open an office where people can go and put in their money that we want to buy. The government buy it on their behalf and bring it. Then these are things that are all possibilities. But an individual level, for an individual to leave the Gambia to go to another country to get it and come back, that is it's a risky trade right now. So people expect a hike in the price this year because I'm not seeing enough rams. That's why
there are not many people can afford ram because there are some employees who have been laid off. There are some employees whose salary have been cut off. At the end of it, it's going to be difficult.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Despite during such festivals, people used to, especially communities, used to come together and buy bulls for this Eid.
Okay.
But yeah, even this time, we have to expect that even the bulls itself, the price is going to be high mercilessly.
Okay.
So I don't know. Maybe the government might intervene before the Eid itself to ensure that there is possibility that people will afford this ram or organizations.
Okay. Okay. Well, over the week, vendors in the country's busiest and biggest market, commonly called Serekunda Sandiga, keep crying out to government to extend development to the market because they don't even have a toilet to use in the market. Dadu Cham was there and see now reports.
Mohamed Ba, a vendor at the Sandeka market, said that there is a toilet that had been closed for ages and still it has not been opened for use. They pay to the nearby compounds to use their toilets. The lack of a toilet is not the only problem. The way in and out of the Sandeka is poor, especially during the rainy season. The incinerator condition of the market at this time always sends away their customers, he said. Mr. Ba also complained about how other natives across Serekunda use the Sandika as a dumping site. Every morning, when they come to sell their goods, they will see so many garbage dumped in the market by the native around the area. Ba explained. They have cried this issue to the government and KMC so many times, but nothing has still been done, he added. A vendor by the name Hadi Kebe said that the Sandika market is the only place to earn her living for her family. But the condition of the place is getting worse and it is affecting their income. She added that the condition of the place is not healthy at all, but they don't have a choice because it is the only place they can sell out their goods to put food on the table of their families. But they don't have a choice because it is the only place they can sell out their goods to put food on the tables of their families. Keba declared that many promises have been made by authorities responsible, but they still have not extended any form of development to the place. She emphasized that the order from the dump site has caused so many health complications for them. Therefore, it is high time the government came to their aid. Sona Bachili, also a mother trying to earn a living from the market, said that paying $5 each time they want to use a toilet is not fair to them because they have and always been paying for their daily and monthly duties to the authorities. Reporting for Star TV News, I am Dado Cham.
Well, paying $5 each time they want to use the toilet, and then looking at the environment, you tend to see they've been neglected.
Not actually, even it's more than even being neglected.
Extended.
It's a failure, as like the word I can use properly. One of them said they are selling there because they don't have a choice. So it means there are no alternatives where they can sell. They are asking people to go into the market. They cancel. KMC will just ask people go to the market. There is space. But if you go there, you will not see anything.
Exactly.
It's just mere propaganda, just to appease people. But there are no space. So in the Gambia, we have more street vendors than those selling. So those who go into the market, if you go to the Sandika, you see them living in a very, very terrible. if there is any fire incident, what will happen? The compounds there, what will happen? So people are paying tax. Tax must be turned into services. So services, you cannot build this type of markets. Like for example, circular market, there's no way you can expand it anymore because people occupy it everywhere. So this is, I think, at the council level, and the council, I'm not seeing them doing much as far as helping vendors, because the environment is not attractive. If you want to invest, you're a potential investor, you come to the syndicate, you will not like to put your money. So it is not attractive, and people are not willing to go there. What people will do is they will prefer selling in the street, and that in the street also they are paying their dues. You are saying they are selling at the wrong place, but still collecting money from them. And what are you doing for them? If they want to go to toilet, they go to nearby compounds and pay money to use their toilets. This does not tell well of the country, because it is the simplest thing a council could have done. The toilet, just tuck away and then build 2 structures or 3 where people can use. Then it's like you are not putting priority to this type of trade. Then you are discouraging people from engaging in this. And then all you do is you come with your receipts, let them give you their money, that is your consideration, you give them their receipt, finish. That's all you do for them, and it does not help.
It seems like they are only after into the on the little they collect from these vendors, because if you looked at it, they said there are even toilets, but opening this toilet is a problem. They will keep on procrastinating that today we will be opening this toilet, tomorrow, and they will not see them. So still, it is still based on the issue of poor management we are talking about. If you look at it, if you look at the way, the roads towards the syndicate itself, you cannot even distinguish where the dumping site started and where did it ended. You know, everywhere people do dump randomly. Though you will see the KM officials, all they after is collecting the $5 and other stuff.
But I also think they have a market committee.
There are market committees, but
market committee that takes
there
care
are market
of,
committees.
These issues.
There are market committees, but what I'm saying is their concern is to ensure that the $5 or the $10 is collected from these vendors. So this is what they are after, because we believe most of them earn their personal gain, livelihood from those $5. So they focus more on the $5 than the well-being of these vendors. And you know, it is not telling well for a market. If you look at the Gambia, Serekunda market, you know, is what is the most busiest center for us. Our market, the biggest one here is Serekunda, and the most busy one. So I think priority they have to give more priority to this market when it comes to spacing. You know, the way vendors are in the market, is they're supposed to consider all these things, because wherever you go, you see how water is locked with everywhere within this market. So this is not telling well. I think the council or the authorities responsible should try and look for a solution, you know, to ensure that these people move out of this problem.
Yeah, you know, the government should relegate some of their powers to the council. The council should have powers for land allocation and many other things. Look at this, it's poor town planning, and who was responsible for town planning is the government. The government look at our highways. Where are the car parks? Do we have proper car parks? Where are the structures, hospital? Where do we have reserve lands for people to use in future development? So we should be thinking ahead, and that the council are responsible for their administrative area. They relegate some of your power. That is, you give some powers to the council to be responsible for land allocation. For example, look at renting example right now. It's moved from the council, taken to the Ministry of Justice. It's not helping people. Landlords are just taking this out. So powers, the government has a lot of powers. So it should relegate some of these powers. This is a food market. People sell it on the floor, on the muddy soil where you have this dirty water running down. Is it hygienic? So people's lives are at stake. For them, even there's some may not even have proper shoes. Proper shoes, exactly. Worms and everything entering there. So people can get a lot of things from this. It's not a proper place to sell. Even naturally, I will not buy anything from this place because it is not attractive, and it does not also tell well of. It's not hygienic, and it's a government that government should be able to help the council in terms of land allocation so that we have proper markets. People prefer selling at the market, but there are no space. People are selling in the street. Look at, for example, Bakau Garage, ABS area. People selling on the, so that way should have been a highway where vehicles will use. But people are using it for market. There's no vehicle that can use it in the morning till 5.
But
market also the same.
Also know that there were a lot of promises made, you know, during the mayoral campaign. All right, that we will do this. They visited the market, you know, and then they try to convince the people to vote for them. Then that when they're elected, at the end of the day, they're going to make changes at these markets.
Yeah, the promises are still in the minds of people, and the council has 2 more years to go. It's 2022 that they will be going for election. Then they are responsible for the development of markets, and they are also responsible for collecting revenues. So as far as the mayor is concerned, he promised $1 billion in the coffers of council. So before saving that money, can the money be used into development? Like, for example, Latin Kundai market, look at it. Is it wide? Can that accommodate all those places and those people there? No. So people are coming to Serekundaya selling in the street because of its openness. People are many here. And then you tend to have more customers here. From here, you start from Johnson, you're going to Serekundaya, you see vendors everywhere.
Exactly.
So what is it telling? There's a problem
you can
somewhere.
come from Westfield up to, let's say,
Tabokoto. People, yes. Yeah. So, and still you come and collect the money from them. What are you doing for them? 2 years now. Where are the markets? You're building a structure at Latikunda market. Can that, is that the only thing you can do?
Accommodate everybody.
So that 1 million you're talking about, I think there's a need for shift of attention. You should build markets and also provide better services for the people than to make promises that people, there are spaces in the market, and if you go there, you will not see any space there. And I challenge the council to go and show us there, because I am someone who has been following this and I reported on it a lot of times.
Okay.
I have interviewed the mayor several times, but I went to the market, the space that they are talking about, I spoke with vendors. There are no space. So the people must understand that the council should do better than this. Although you understand that the council was not proper under the past regime, but since he came, he's also trying to transform it. But with that, he should do it with speed, because people are suffering.
Indeed, because if you look at it, having this the amount of vendors in this tight market, spending their whole day in this place without toilet facilities is very risky, because without toilets, especially you have kids selling within the market, moving in and out, something can happen to someone here. So without knowing the place, you can defecate on yourself or do something which is not hygienic. So in turn, you selling food within an environment where there is nothing like toilet facilities. How safe do you think that food will be? Having an open dump site like that, insects flying in and out, from one table to another. And whenever they fly insects, they carry out something.
But what happens with the KMC trucks?
It is the million-dollar question. Yeah. The 2 trucks are there, but they are not sufficient to make sure that they have clear all the garbages within the market. Just in the afternoon, if you pass by, when you are passing by, you will see people sweeping. But come in the morning, you will think like, nothing has happened here during the day. Though we are talking about the council, but attitudinal change have to be also considered. The people themselves, the vendors have to change their attitude.
And sometimes,
because so others will see the garbage or the trash bins, instead of dumping there, they will just litter it like that and pass. So others, they will even push it into the gutters.
And sometimes the neighbors who live within the vicinity of the Sandiga, sometimes, at night, they come and dump.
Yeah, this is one of one thing with some of the vendors were complaining, because he said you will hardly see someone selling animals within the Sandika, but at times you will come and see a dead animal within their dump site, and the odor which will be coming out of that dead animal, it's not hygienic for them. And if you look at how tight the environment is, and you have to live with that, bad odor for a whole day,
well, people are paying tax. People are paying their monies every day. Is the council not ready to provide them with security? So there's only a security at least there who will be monitoring the place. People leave their goods there and leave for home. In the morning they come back. They just cover it with these bags of rice. So, and also, like for example, fruit. Fruit is prone to rot very easily.
Yeah.
So, if you place fruit on a soil that is muddy, that has dirty water, what are you trying to do?
Well, it will actually spoil.
And that is what is happening. Like, it's not even properly, how do you say, tiled. The syndicate.
No, it's
so
not.
These are.
No, it is not at that level. In fact, we learned that the council have recruited a lot of security officers. KM, it's one of the council with more security officers in the country here. But it's very hard to see those people at night trying to, ensure that the environment is secure.
Patrol the environment.
Yeah, this is very hard. You hardly understand what is the role of those securities, because they are only there in the morning, try to, be pushing one another with the vendors there. Do this, move here, go up and down. As my colleague said, they will keep on there pushing people. But where will they go? The space is not there.
And they will survive.
Yeah, the problem is, in my own perspective, I think this is an issue of poor planning.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know who demarcated the market, but the knowledge is still lacking, because he was not thinking. The individual was not thinking about the future of this country or the future of this market.
Okay.
Because look at the way it is today.
The dangerous thing is, Sandika is adjacent to the
Hospital.
It's hospital. A clinic, the circular clinic.
Yeah.
And sometimes you see ambulance delayed because of vendors selling on the road.
Yeah.
So it is the police who will come in, both the government police force and the council will be partnering to chase them. We chase them, just give them 5-10 minutes. They'll be back. Because they have to survive. They're leaving their families home. And they have spent their time growing these vegetables. And they need to sell it so that they will have ends and then go home to buy something. At least when they go home, they buy something, food stuff for their family to cook. So how do you expect you change the person and the person to live for that? It had nothing. That is not going to be possible. And you collected $5 from that person. You want the person not to sell. So these are things that you must.
Okay. Well, over the week, the Gambia Action Party GAP on Tuesday evening said party leader and presidential candidate retired General Lamin Bojang has been expelled from the party. This comes in the wake of a reported nude video of Bojang circulating on social media. It was also necessitated after Bojang accused executive members of the party of circulating the video. Let's get this report and come back.
Over the weekend, Gambians were greeted with an unfortunate nude video of Bojang. Initially, it was reported that Bojang denied that he was the one in the video, saying it was a fake one. But after many talks on social media, Bojang called a presser on Tuesday and accused some senior members of GAPS of the circulation of the video online. This accusation has apparently angered the party leadership, and they decided that the best way out of this mess was to expel their former standard bearer from the party. In a press release, the party said, "The Gambia Action Party is very much aware about the recent nude video and photos of Honorable Lamin Bojang circulating in the media platforms. And this came as a shock and surprise to the general membership of the GAP. All attempts were made within the national executive to ensure that the image of the party and Honorable Lamin Bojang remain clean and clear from the mess. But we have less control on what is published on social media platforms." The party noted that it stood in solidarity with Bojang after the video was uploaded on social media. But after he accused senior members of the party of circulating the video, the party said that they could no longer tolerate that. The party, in a letter sent to Mr. Bojang, wrote, "We want to make it crystal clear that your actions are unethical and are not in line with the constitution of the party as well as the modus operandi. Thus, we unanimously agreed to expel you from the party, and you are no longer our presidential candidate or flag bearer effective on the 14th of July 2020. The party also believes that Bojang was not supposed to call on a press conference without their approval. The party said Bojang no longer has any connection whatsoever with them." Reporting for Star TV News, I am Yamundoku.
Okay, that was the report sent to media houses over the week that GAP has expelled Lamin Bojang. We all know Bojang. Before he was expelled, he did hold a press conference, at his house, and I think he also did accuse GAP, members of circulating the video, I think, which maybe infuriated, GAP, to also, react. Yeah.
Yes, it is an unfortunate incident that involves a very prominent person in the country, who is a politician, Dr. Bojang. Then one would not have expected this from any person of this caliber. And then he said it is a setup, that he is completely innocent. Then his party then in turn said, after accusing members of his party of being behind this circulation, then he was expelled. And I believe the party haven't put forward any reason why they have expelled him, whether he contravened anything, but all they say is his accusation. He's accused of, his expulsion was based on the accusations he levied. So the PRO is around, and we will hope to hear from him what exactly triggered their decision, so that people will be able to analyze what they, people will be able to understand their position very well.
Exactly. Thank you very much. We have the PRO of GAP who is right here. We just welcome.
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Gambians or fellow Gambians and compatriot of the Gambia Action Party, from the senior topmost executive committee membership and leadership down to the last person. And I am here as capacity, in capacity of the public relations director of the Gambia Action Party. And just as the bulletin just rightly mentioned, the Gambia Action Party is a political party that has been striving to be put in the right footing, and as a result of that, there is nobody who is bigger than the Gambia Action Party, because the Gambia Action Party works, its modus operandi works with basic principles of democracy, and the Gambia Action Party took a position when the nude video was circulated, and in fact, our position was not actually looking at the nude video per se, because we stand with him in solidarity, and we expect him. He's a mature individual. Though this is personal, but we cannot detach him also his character from the Gambia Action Party.
First
we looked at it generally. We had several meetings, executive at the level. We also invited him to hear his version of the scenario and then make up a decision. In fact, the interim decision that we made was just to not even to expel him, but to suspend him for the time because with a series of investigations going on to prove his innocence. And we think it's important for the Gambia Action Party also to have a say, because we don't also want to sit down, fold our hands when everybody is talking around, and end of the day, the Gambia Action Party don't have a position. So we decided to have a suspension aspect. And when we heard from him, when we heard him from what he told us, it's like he's innocent. He kept on telling he's innocent, but he's innocent. I can prove your innocence. Of course, we are a party. We can help him. We can stand with him side by side in solidarity, but he has also to prove some level of trust to the people, because the Gambia Action Party, it's not an individual enterprise. It's owned by Gambians. So they also demand answers, and we are in the right positions to make sure those questions are answered. When he pleaded with us, like, he was given 3 days to 4 days, and I'll try to see how best I can get to the perpetrators of this issue. And then he personally sent me some correspondences between him and an individual who is in Benin, who actually conducted the act. And it was like they were asking him to pay 5,000 euros, and if not, they will circulate the video. I think they could not meet the conditions. The money was not sent, and the perpetrators was like looking at it as a breach of contract. And in one of his audios, in the correspondences, he said that, well, I'm going to tarnish your character, I'm going to dent your image, I'm going to assassinate your character because you feel the contract that we signed, that is the 5,000 euros. And eventually, the nude video became viral. You know, I have it, others have it, many people have it. Even me, I was having it, but I was just like to seal the identity. People were calling me, do you know what is going on? I said, no, I don't know what's going on in my party. They said something is going on, videos and stuff. I said, no, I don't know it. Just like to seal the identity, for us not to like further spread the information. So sort of like we try to keep him aside, because he's our image. The Gambia Action Party is Bojang, is the flag bearer. That position is eminent than any other position apart from the Secretary General and Party leader of the Gambia Action Party. So we try to seal that image. But to our surprise, The day we gave him, it's supposed to be on Wednesday. Then that very Monday, it's Monday or Tuesday, he will call on, convey a press conference in his house without even the notification of the press secretary, the leadership, and any member of the Gambia Action Party. To our surprise, we had it on the air that he is making some allegations against senior members of the party that are responsible to make the video viral. We are surprised. Immediately we call an emergency meeting, because in our constitution, section 10.10, section 10.1 to section 10.2 stipulates the actions of the disciplinary committee and the senior executive committee, because these are the two roles that we have.
Okay.
Now the disciplinary committee look at it together, and they have powers vested in it as the constitution stipulates, to see what sort of remedy can be taken, what sort of solution can be taken. Well, we look at it, this is gross misconduct and gross insubordination, as stipulated by the constitution, and the measures that are supposed to be taken there are there in 10.2. And 10.2, Article 10.2, subsection 1 talks about expulsion. And then 10.2, the same provision, also talks about suspension, termination of services at a particular time. And it also talks about position levy, and that is subsection 3 to subsection 4 of the said provision, also said levy, or you fine the individual at an amount, as a restitution, to be able to compensate, or as a form of compensation for him to continue in that very position. So, but when the disciplinary committee look at it, the accusation is the height of insult, because people cannot make you what you are, come back and stab you at your back. At the Gambia Action Party will never do that. We choose him unanimously. We agreed that he's going to be our flag bearer for 2021 elections.
Yeah, but don't you know that I think it should have also been, justified if you would have heard from the other side of the story, hear him also, grant him a hearing, in a panel, so that he can put forward his accusation. And then I think it was the responsibility of GAP also, if a party leader accused members, I think GAP should also investigate those accusations to find out whether it's true or not. Because if GAP did not investigate, what will happen? It can also, reflect on another person who comes again.
That is why I said in the disciplinary committee, the address is on ethical conduct and mediates and disputes and resolves conflict within members of the party. Now, for example, this is Article 10.10. Now, this is not an immediate decision that was taken. In fact, we call him on a meeting, he came and then explained himself. I think if we find something that was unwanted, like somebody is doing this threat to him, it would have been easier just to say it or convene an emergency meeting.
But was it not the same day? Because the day he conducted that interview, that press conference, I think it was the same day that GAP expelled him.
Yes.
So I think what prompted it was from the press conference.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah. But what he articulated in the press conference was not something that was recorded. Was not something that was like said. It was set up. We had it from him. Like, for example, if you convene a press conference, whatever you say, people hear you live. Yeah. I follow the program live, and I know he said those words. Yeah. He accused. In fact, later on, around 17:30, there's a reporter here in the Gambia for BBC. I had it live on BBC that GAP presidential candidate accuses Gambia's Action Party senior most executive members of being reason why his video was circulated, was made viral in all social media platforms. It was unethical.
Okay, so yes, do you remove him as the leader of GAP, or you expel him from the party? Let that be clear.
In fact, he has never been the leader of GAP.
So the flag bearer, sir.
The flag bearer.
So his position is terminated.
We're still a GAP member.
That is up to him. Every Gambian is a GAP member if you want to be. Obviously, if you want to come back and work with
well, I heard in one of the interviews conducted by Bachelet, he said that Bojang should not come near GAP. So meaning, it's expulsion from the party. I read the interview on the newspapers, exactly.
That could be by the way.
Yeah.
But we know that he's not representing us in that capacity. He's no longer representing the Gambia Action Party in that capacity as the flag bearer.
So, do you have a copy of your letter that you sent to him about the expulsion, the heading? then you read it and see whether what you are saying now and exactly what happened at the scene.
That will be a little bit far. I don't know where can I
okay.
right now. But the matter was clear. I think, I don't know whether you have a copy of it, but it was clear even during the press conference when it was conveyed. It was made public for it was a public document. People were able to get a journalist in this country.
So he was also served?
He was served and then ejected.
Yeah.
He said he's not going to sign.
So it's the simplest thing is he is being removed from the person based on the accusation
Exactly.
against
GAP.
GAP.
Yeah.
Then you are reading section 10.10.
10.1 talks
Yes.
about the disciplinary measures.
You're talking about discipline, but I mean the grounds for removal.
That's 10.2.
10.2.
That is 10.2 subsection 1.
So can you please read it so that people will
Talks
understand?
about expulsion.
Yes, sir, please.
10.2, the disciplinary measures at the disposal of the disciplinary measures at the disposal of the committee. 1, under subsection 1 is expulsion from the party. Second, subsection 2 is suspension for a specific time. Subsection 3 talks about termination of service in the executive committee as an executive member, termination. And then 4 is talk about eligibility and positions. And the 5th one, last one, is position on levy or restitution. That is what I'm talking about, indemnity. That is to give maybe a sort of restitution to the party because of being flouted one of the constitutional rules. So that is what the provisions also alluded into. So after going through this, the disciplinary committee actually looked at it together before it was passed to the executive committee for them to take the action. And later we realized that the accusation is the height of insult, is also another height of gross insubordination and gross misconduct. So upon this, we will not want a leader, or we will not want a presidential candidate who go out there and talk bad or tarnish the character or the image or even dent the image of the party. And it doesn't tell good on that individual. So based on these exercises, that is why the committee took this position to.
So how soon will you replace him with someone who is going to lead you?
Well, we are not in a rush right now. We are not in a rush. Yes, still the party mode of operandi is still operating, and besides the party secretary general, Honorable Musa Yale Bachile, still maintains his position as the party leader. And let me make it clear here, he's not the flag bearer of the party. He's still the party leader and secretary general of the party. We are going for Congress. It might be before we go for Congress, or before we approach Congress, or it might be after Congress before we can identify an individual that is going to run.
But you started to talk to some individuals.
We are not scouting yet.
Yeah.
Because we are like we are a little bit panic. Like we don't want to like rush. What have just happened with the Gambia Action Party is unprecedented. It's not something that we even anticipated for in the beginning. But it's just like in political parties, political institutions are institutions that they even want to use short application of services by people, because we are eyeing for people to come into the party, not to expel people. So that's why we are constrained to even take this position. You understand what I'm trying to say? We are constrained to take this position because we are eyeing to get more people into the party. Yes, Mr. Bojang is an individual, but he has followers as well. Let's be realistic. Yeah. He has followers as well, and the impact is going to cause us. I will not be here, I will be making sweet talks. It's going to cause a level of impact. But whatever, this is a decision, because we don't want it to be in a modus of repetition. Because one, if actions cannot be taken by now, another person can also flap the constitution. And what will we do? And he will also stand and say, okay, Bojang has did this. He has done this here. No action was taken. And what about me? So that is why we put an end to it, so that even Musa Yale Bachile, who is the party leader and presidential candidate, is not above the constitution and modus of operandi of the party.
Yes, okay. Yes. All parties must operate based on democratic principle. So your party, is there any appeal mechanism? Like you have taken your decision. Does this man have will he be accorded a chance to appeal? Tell us whether you have appeal mechanisms in your constitution.
No, we don't have appeal mechanisms. In fact, before a decision is taken, it has to be looked into squarely. In fact, that's why we are not in a haste to take the decision. Because when the press conference was convened at the time, and the time also we took the decision was like ample of hours. So the measurable consequences we took, and the disciplinary committee also sat on this, and then later translate this information to the executive committee before the position was taken. We don't want to regret on our positions that we take. That is why we took our time, and coming back into the party is trying to discredit or form of a disrepute the party's image. Because we cannot say A today, and then tomorrow we say B. How will people look at us? They will say, these people are not responsible. They are not serious.
Yeah, but don't you also think it is wise? Still now you expel him, but you make sure you investigate these things, okay, to know where it emanated from, because he might also be right that one of the party members did this, okay, and if the person did this and get away with it, okay, the other person who's coming to come and become a flag bearer, if that person don't want him, he can also do the same thing.
Okay, let me make it clear here. What is even the eminent reason why you as a flag bearer will go down there on air and tell people that your own party is stabbing you at the back? Didn't you have measures in the party? We have a constitution. We have a disciplinary committee. Engage them.
Yeah, he should have come to you also. Yeah.
Engage them. You are part of the committee. The said committee, you are part of the, you know the constitution that binds you in the party. Call on us, an emergency meeting. Yes, this is going on. Abubakar Bayo is responsible to send my note videos to so people. I have the evidence. Tender them. The disciplinary committee will look at the measures. They will deal with me severely instead of him. But to me, it makes no sense for you to go out there and talk bad about the party that you belong to. What's the essence?
Well, like accusation and insult, they are putting two things together. You're saying he accused senior members of your party.
I'm talking about accusation. I'm talking about insult. Which insult?
It's a gross insult.
Gross
You say
insult.
that, yeah. And then
Accusation is also an insult.
seriously.
A pedigree of an accusation. You know, all accusations are different in terms of degrees. But like you telling me that you are responsible for my downfall, you are insulting me.
No, not necessarily.
No. If you look at it in another way, you know, words can be defined in a dictionary in a different aspect, or when you use them in a context, it takes another meaning. Maybe when you're talking about insult, the way it is defined in the dictionary and the way you put it in this context might different.
It's different. Yeah.
So in the contextual meaning in which you use it is a height of insult.
So what you mean by insult is it was not expected from him?
Yes, yes. It's not expected. It's a caliber of leadership. People trust you, but you have to live by example. If Bojang is not living by example, we that are behind, we the young ones that are behind, why do you think we will behave in the party? We will behave anyhow. So that is why the constitution exercises its mandate, abide by the disciplinary measures that are being in the constitution, and we act and take a position. And nothing is going to change that position, because we don't want Gambians to see us like liars. Yeah.
So finally, on the independence of your disciplinary committee.
Yeah.
You said you have an executive and also a disciplinary committee.
Yeah.
How independent is this disciplinary committee from the executive? And who are I don't mean like persons, but who are the members? Do you have executive members serving in the disciplinary committee? And how do they operate?
Let me just give you the division of powers, or here the way it's stipulated. Like, for example, the executive committee is an umbrella that's called a national supreme body. In that national supreme body, you have different portfolios. Like the spokesperson, the public relation director, the administrative secretary, the flag bearer, and others and others. You know, they are all in one angle. And then from there, in it, you have a subsection, which is called the disciplinary committee. Those people are answerable to the supreme body that make the measures or take the decision. Their role is just like, that's why I said in 10.1, it stipulates their role entirely. What and what did they do? So like if a complaint comes, they look at it together and they say, okay, yeah, this is this. Now the measures are not confined in their powers, but they will later translate it to the executive committee. They are the ones that have the powers and the measures to exercise. If they say, for example, I steal, okay, the part of the constitution that stipulates how stealing, the effect of it, you know, the executive committee knows that. Now, for example, stealing, they will say, okay, they will expel you, they will terminate your service. It depends what decision will they take. But it depends on the height of the offense committed. Whether it can lead to the expulsion, it can lead to termination of service, or levy, because that's why levy is there in subsection 6, subsection 5. Levy, that one I think is minimal, it's mild, it's not that great. You can pay like $1,000 a fine, $2,000 a fine. Like, for example, if you are late for a meeting, it's also misconduct. You understand? Like you are late. Like for example, we are supposed to meet at 4, you come 5 o'clock. What you're supposed to discuss, we have to go back, reiterate, and tell you what actually happened. So they have to find you. And in that regard, maybe you pay $100, $200. Those are mild. Yeah. But like the height of the offense committed, that can deal with you in according to the provisions on the subsections as well.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Bayo, for coming to Long Time News Review. Well, after that one, we've seen Duduja rebukes publication on confirmed coalition talks between the APRC and the NPP. The assistant spokesperson of the Alliance for Patriotic Reorientation and Construction, Duduja, has denied the headline publication of the Standard newspaper stating that the APRC has confirmed talks with NPP for a coalition, adding that their headline was misleading. Jacqueline Koli interviewed him and see now reports.
Duduja revoked the headline of the Standard newspaper and completely labeled the write-up as misleading to the general public.
The headline, for me, it's misleading, but everybody who knows Standard newspaper, it's not the first time. They did it before, and they're still doing it, I would say. And they interviewed me, and that was yesterday. I believe they should put my picture. So portraying the president, Adama Barrow.
Mr. Jazz said that the APRC has other parties besides the NPP that are showing keen interest to work with them, but he doesn't want to disclose their identity yet.
Yes, what I said is we have parties that approach us showing interest, they want to work with the APRC. Working with us, is it to form a coalition? Is it to back us, or do they want us to support them? It is yet not to be, cleared. And I refuse to disclose those political parties for the very fact that nothing, is concrete yet. We haven't agreed anything, and it wouldn't be fair to mention their names whilst they've not engaged our executive even to discuss on possible alliances. So this is the reason I don't want to mention their names unless they give me the green light to do so. But we're looking forward to it. We're open to work with any party, but as at now, we're yet to sit with any political party to discuss positively and to agree on anything.
He highlighted that before the APRC could think of forming any alliance with the NPP, certain demands must be put in place. Some of them include the life of the former President Yahya Jammeh and the sales of his assets, as well as the assets of their party, which he claimed were sold illegally.
If in all NPP and APRC will form an alliance, what would be our commands, our demands for that matter? And I clarified, I said, first and foremost, this government, the cabinet, most of them are incompetent. These are my own observations and what I see in this country. They're not competent. And for that matter, a huge reshuffle must take place. Let them bring in people competent enough to man these offices, to push this country forward. It's not necessarily has to be APRC people, but Gambians, I said there are thousands of Gambians who can occupy those offices. And I said hiring and firing, it's not a taboo. If you can't deliver, you must go. Somebody else who can do the job must be given the opportunity. I say we will not support any government that is not serving the interests of Gambians. Then APRC, we will be blamed, for not pushing this country forward. I highlighted that. Then I talked about the constitution not being respected. The rights of a former president is not accorded to him. And the joint declaration with the AU, ECOWAS, and the United Nations negotiated on behalf of the government. They are not respecting that. How do we support somebody who don't respect agreements, who don't honor what the laws of the land says? And the assets of the party and the former president, I said it is also been abused, illegally sold, etc. I said things must be put straight before we think of any possible alliance with this NPP party.
He stressed that the APRC has installed internet in their bureau with the motive of creating an online radio and an online TV. He said that their website will soon start operating. All this, he said, is in the pipeline, and that they want to connect to the rest of the world so that people will have first-hand information of what the APRC is up to. He assured that their initiative will be implemented in a month or two. Jacqueline Koli, reporting for Star TV News.
I'd love to have Duduja in, but unfortunately he cannot make it. But here, two reports, two sides of the story. Duduja denying the report on Standard newspaper, and we've also seen Standard recently, the editor also, standing, by what he wrote on the Standard newspaper, that it was a confirmed, coalition talks between APRC and NPP that Duduja did. Duduja also is talking about that pictures of former presidents should not be used. Instead, it should be his picture.
When you talk about APRC, you cannot remove Jammeh from it.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
it's not Bojang is not the right person to tell Standard what to do. APRC was founded by Yahya Jammeh, and then he's out of the country, but still he's a leader of the party.
And he has a big influence in the party.
They call him, I think, the supreme leader or something in their party. So that is not it's a no-go area for him. And then, secondly, he reported the information that there's talks. You know, this is politics, and then one can say this, and tomorrow you find out that it does not favor you. You can come and report it. But I believe if the Standard editor is saying they have done it, it means he has enough evidence to support his article, and then they are too professional to write this type of reports. And you know, at the beginning, Dudu was a Standard again. They are known for for me personally, I don't know standard of writing those type of things. So if APRC talks with, the importance is not one-sided. He's saying their interests must be fulfilled. One of them, he has laid down their conditions.
Exactly.
And those conditions are what is important to them. So it means if NPP is ready to do that for them, they will consider them. So this is, we are going towards 2020, and then there is a likelihood that they will come into agreement. So he disclosed, they're talking about NPP and forgetting to talk about other parties. It means he's hiding something. Let him mention the party. This is politics. You have nothing to hide. You're talking about transparency. You are talking about, now mention the parties that approach you. Let people know, and then you see how it goes. But your interests cannot be supreme. He said NPP interests have approached them. But anyway, he also they are putting their measures. So their measures and measures of NPP, if they match, it means there will be how do you say? There will be a coalition, and that coalition, it is believed that will be a coalition that will succeed. So it is interest versus interest. Let's see what will happen.
Okay. Modu.
Well,
very interesting.
Indeed, very interesting, because Fabakari's last press briefing, he himself mentioned that there is no permanent enemy in politics. He himself said it. So a question was raised about the possibilities of the APRC having a coalition with either the NPP or the UDP. So that's the time he himself said that there is no permanent enemy in politics. So the future is bright for any political party which is willing to respect their demands.
But so also there was a WhatsApp audio of Jammeh that circulated that also made Jammeh saying that APRC will not go into coalition with any political party.
So it's a controversy.
Exactly.
This report is controversial. When I read it, I was surprised, because that was the first thing that comes to my mind. That the supreme leader is saying no coalition, and now the report is saying there is likelihood of coalition. So the report, in fact, I don't know whether APRC understood what the report. It does not say there is a coalition. It's coalition talks. So it means there is an ongoing engagement, and in fact, do confirm that, because some political parties are in the NPP is one of them. So there cannot be. I don't think there's a way that he can report this, unless people want to make pettiness out of it. But he confirmed what the report is saying. That is, there is coalition talks. That is what it is. It's not there is coalition, but there is coalition talks.
I think
there is discussion.
That will question their level of understanding of that clause, their coalition talks. In fact, the next day, even BBC reported that NPP is now trying to get the APRC in order for them to form a coalition for the 2021 elections. But if he comes today and say that these are just mere fabrication by the Standard, I don't think this is something which will hold water, because if you see the Standard editor, vowing, yielding that this is what was said by Duru himself. So I don't know where will Duru back himself, because he himself is saying that he have an audio which he is basing himself on, that this is a miscontent by the Standard newspaper. So I don't think that what he is saying is certain. Though looking at the context of the story, if you look at it, you will know that it's a problem of misinterpretation. The way people interpret the story, and the people's perspective regarding the NPP and this APRC, because if you look at it currently, the APRC is vividly trying to influence NPP. So seeing them come together to join hands for the next presidential election, will surprise many.
Yeah, well, time is against us. I think we could have, talk about it, for quite a while. But as you already know, we've been alerted that it's already time. Yankuba, what do you want to say to round up?
Yes, thank you very much, and then I hope we have done better in terms of our analysis, and then it is almost everything here that we discuss is opinion, and then we hope people are not offended that it's just one person talking, and then each person's individual opinion counts, so we have to learn to observe and respect each other's opinion.
Yeah, certainly. Well, still on the politics, let us all know that the 2021 election will be a tough war between the political heavyweights. But by concluding, we will thank our viewers for being there, and we apologize if they found anything offensive on our analysis.
Right. Okay, thank you very much. We thank our viewers, and then we thank the PR of GAP who was able to make it here at the studio. I thank my two colleagues for joining me today on Long Time News Review. The program will be back, that's going to be next week. Thank you from me. Bye.